right, welcome to the Friday Night Mix Show. Hey. Anytime I play this song, I always feel that you're always enjoying the groove. You just be shaking your head and moving. What's going on?
It's my music, it's my jam.
Hey. Yes, it is the Friday Night Mix Show, and whenever we're here, it is always fun and some laughter in the house. But more importantly, it is people are learning new things and you're getting more knowledge on the one you've known before. So it's always a pleasure to have you guys join us as we are about to go and talk to somebody who is so interesting.
That's right.
Uh, I'll tell you quickly here. It was my wife that first told me and said, "Have you heard about this lady before?" I'm like, "No, I've not. Who is she?" Like, hey, she's the one doing things in Canada. Hey, I was like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah, she's the one doing." If you want to talk to anybody when it comes to real estate and investment and generational wealth and all of that, you need to talk to this lady. So I started stalking her. I was talking, I was following her, I was following her. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think she's got the juice. I need to speak to her on this show. We're bringing her on the show, as you all know, we always do. But before we do, let's quickly get this out of the way. Lami, how are you doing this beautiful Friday?
It's another beautiful day. It's exciting, and it was my sister's birthday, or it still is my sister's
Woo!
birthday.
Today, right?
So shout out to that little girl of mine. She's not so little anymore, but yeah. So we just came back from hanging out together, just spending time together. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. Yeah.
Nice, 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 nice. Happy birthday to can I call her name on the live? Yes. To
She's probably
Dami, we do love you and appreciate you on the show. You know how it is. All right. Anything in the news? Any story? Anything
well.
that we can talk about?
Honestly, it's been an interesting week, and like last time, I didn't really see anything in the news, but I did see a meme today, which I found really interesting. So it was an exchange between two guys. So this guy's name
Hmm.
is supposedly Abel, and then he said, "Oh, it's Friday. Friday is the day when you should send monies to your girlfriends." And then somebody
Oh,
responded and said, "That's why Cain killed you."
that's sad. That That is not nice at all. Oh my god, that's like a kid. You like sending money to girlfriend? Oh no, that's harsh. That's harsh. That one is harsh. All right, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy. But I've noticed that we don't have much people online right now. If you are, because we changed our time, remember? So
Yeah,
if
we
you're
did.
watching right now, make sure that you're leaving a comment. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you were, getting connected because we're about to get straight into this. And trust me, it's something that you would want to learn a thing or two. Okay, Yomi says hello. So thank you for
Hey,
joining,
number one
Yomi.
fan.
Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you're liking. Thanks for dropping a comment or two. We've changed the time to 6 p.m. We will be doing at 6 p.m. Just because, it's a little bit earlier. And when we have guests like the next guest that we have, this guest we have tonight, at least we'll be able to, you know, we'll be able to talk to her before she goes to bed. I won't keep her out of bed on the night. All right. So, anything before we get her into the groove and just get to start interviewing and talking to her today?
Honestly, I'm super excited to have this conversation with this next guest, and it's going to be. I'm very certain because I've been following her page and all that. It's going to be really exciting because there's so much I want to ask her. There's so much. It's like, okay, what's going on?
What's
How
really
did you
going
make it
on?
up? Because she's really a mover and shaker, if you will,
That's
in the
right.
industry, very respected, and yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting time. So I can't wait to start because you know how the time runs fast, right? On the show, the next thing we know, it's 7 o'clock and we have to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our chat tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm also looking forward to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. The person that we have to bring to you live on the show tonight, She is the founder of Deborah Homes, which is dedicated to empowering Black immigrants to achieve lasting wealth so that they can pass down this wealth to generations. Her journey began at 16 when she witnessed her parents' struggles in a new country. This inspired her to dream of property ownership. And over the last 5 years, she's turned this vision into reality by educating over 2,000 immigrants and pioneering a crowdfunding initiative that has enabled 100 modest income individuals to become homeowners. Our expertise has also guided 400 Black families to building generational wealth through property investment. Ladies and gentlemen, our efforts have earned our prestigious industry awards, including Platinum, Chairman's Club, and the Hall of Fame recognition from RIMAX. Our unwavering commitment to this cause continues to break barriers and transform the lives of immigrants, especially Black immigrants, helping them to create a legacy of enduring prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome the one and only Deborah Ojo. That is a royal introduction for no other person but the queen of real estate herself. Welcome to the show, Deborah.
Thank you so much for having me. Your energy definitely lights up the room. I am so great to be. I am so happy to be here, and I can't wait to have conversation with you all and your audience as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yomi said, but not Abido kind of shaker. No, 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 no Abido kind of shaker. This is the shaker of shakers. Welcome to the show. It is so nice to have you on the show.
Well,
And
I just went to Nigeria for a moment because it was like we're
yeah,
too quiet.
yeah, it just went off there for a moment. Let me just do this quickly. And thank you so much for coming on the show. We really, really do appreciate you for coming. Usually, when we start the show, before you know it, time has gone. We will not be able to finish all our conversation. So we're going to go straight into it.
Okay.
Lami, you are into real estate. Do you want to throw the first salvo?
Mm.
Honestly, I'm all about the real estate question, but
Mhm.
so that people have we know we've read our bio and all of that, but just to have a sense of who Deborah Ojo is,
Mm.
if you don't mind, just telling us a little bit about yourself. Let's get a sense of what got you into the real estate investment. Because if I've noticed anything on your page, your audience seems to be investors. Yeah.
Mm.
So, why did you
Just like me.
carve that niche for yourself? Just
Mm.
tell us a little bit about that, and then yeah, we come back with a bang with more questions.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that question, Lami. I came into real estate thinking about I'm going to empower the next generation. I'm honestly going to empower myself first.
Mm.
I started because we bought a property. We made a lot of money, and I was restless from there on. I was talking to everyone about real estate. When my husband comes back from work, the poor guy, I'll be telling him, "Do you see somebody that bought it sold? I know when they bought the house. Can you imagine?" Like, and one day it was just like, you know what? If you're so passionate about it and you've been looking for businesses to do, why don't you just go into it, right? And now, background story, I think we have an extra large family according to people's reactions when I tell them the number of kids that we have. So we needed to a life balanced lifestyle, right? Because my husband couldn't work full time, I couldn't work full time because the kids were so young, and one of us needed to do business, to be honest, so that we can balance. I can be there when they need to come out from the bus, help them. Because as immigrants, I think one of the major problems is we come here for to settle our kids, right? My parents brought me here, but their dream is to see their grandkids settle. And in most cases, while we are chasing those financial independence, we forget about the kids why we came, right? So my focus was how can I make money to take care of them,
Hmm.
their extracurricular activities, at the same time making the money, right? Making a lot of it. And trust me, I thought about a lot of things. I thought about money exchange. 20 years ago, I came into Canada. when money exchange wasn't a thing, I thought about cooking, and then I said, no, I don't want to cook. How much money am I going to make? So I thought about a lot of businesses, and real estate seems to be the right fit. And I was obsessed about it. So that's why I came into it. So it was just something natural to me.
Hmm.
Wow. Do you see the similarity in Richard's story and the real story? Remember, Richard also said he sold clothes. He was a tailor, and then it was like, okay, how much will I make from? I mean, I'll service like 10 customers. How much am I going to make? And
Hmm.
then real estate. He went into real estate, and of course, he's one of the top guys also in real estate here. I mean, that's a very interesting story. But let's take it just a little bit, just back a bit.
Hmm.
Tell us your background when it comes to your education. What
Okay.
kind of family do you come from? What shaped your what informed your personality and what shaped your kind of person?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to know because you guys said you've been following me for a while, so I always want to get feedback from you guys as to what you think I am. But I can tell you, my dad was a banker in Nigeria. He stayed there for 20 years, over 20 years. He served, the industry for over 20 years. He was always in and out. We barely knew him. He was providing for the family, of course, but he didn't have time to really settle and have a relationship with his family. And we were five kids, right? Now, my dad is a dreamer. My dad brought us all here when I was still like 16 or 15 years old, right? And I was the first born. So my dad has always been a dreamer. But before then in Nigeria, they fired him, I think about maybe 5 or 7 years before we actually came. And that was a time that you were supposed to start getting your kids to university, having all of these expenses. So my dad called me. We had a shop that I was managing for him. My mom was also a business owner. And my dad said, don't ever work for anyone because at your prime, when you need them the most,
Hmm.
that's when they might let you go, right? And at the time, my dad, I was used to, wearing suits and all of that, all of those swagger. He became someone that didn't have anything because he didn't have a backup plan. Yes, he built a house, but he also has five kids, right? So that was difficult. And then my mom has always been a business owner. She sells, laces, those Nigerian
Hmm.
outfits, and all of that. And my mom always said something. She said, "I could never do any business where if I give someone, if Lami came to me and I gave her pure water, served her water from the profits I made, that's it. That's all my profits for that month. That means that's not sustainable. It won't answer fit my financial needs."
Hmm. Hmm.
And she said she would never do a business like that. So those are some of the two core things that formed my business decisions, right? Until today, if you bring any business idea to me, because now I see myself more as an entrepreneur, but if you bring me any business ideas that is gonna give me only chips money and all of that, I'm gonna tell you I'm not interested, right? I have to think about something that will help me scale. So those are some of the things that formed my culture as someone, so as an individual. And fast forward, I knew I was going to have businesses. So when I came, I don't know how long you guys have been here, but if you heard about a company called Zealous was like a Walmart at the time, and then
Hmm.
they closed down, right? So after a few years, but I thought I was going to have multi-chain stores like Zealous. That was my dream. That was my goal. It's still part of the things that I hope someday I'm going to have. But I've always thought I was going to have businesses, right? I'm going to be a serial entrepreneur just so that I don't have to depend on anyone. Now, my education background, I read human resources, and Paula sent me a guy that is doing human resources, and I was watching that interview just before I came here. I mean, God bless him, right? But for me, it wasn't just a thing for me. Remember, I have four kids at home. I need a life, a lifestyle balance between all of that, work life balance. And I was wearing IU. So as soon as I was done school, I was working for all of these professionals. I was an HR assistant. No, not really an HR assistant. I was more like an admin assistant. I was helping with recruitment and everything. And I would be wearing all those Google eyes, blah, 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 blah. And it was making me money. I was looking at my paycheck and the amount of work that I have to do. And the way those high heels was hurting my leg was just a reminder to I cannot continue to suffer like this. And you guys are paying me $35,000.
Hmm.
And at the time, I interviewed the HR manager that was there. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so what's your retirement? Just talking, right? And
Hmm.
then this woman said, "This is where I'm gonna die. I'm never gonna leave." I'm like, ah,
Wow.
you don't leave this position. And I continue to work hard and strive hard. When am I gonna get to your position that the money is not even enough?
Hmm.
Want to talk about you paying me, right? I mean, that has always, maybe I have an extra big vision. I also work
Mm.
for a company called Food Basics. Food Basics still exists today, okay?
Wow.
I was working for Food Basics. The same thing happened. I was working at one care. Those women, they don't want to retire. I'm like, this is never gonna be enough, right? So
Mm.
all of those expedited my goal of I want a business that is able to satisfy my financial need, and that doesn't have to involve a lot of struggles, right? I'm a very big girl, so anything that I have to, not wear my nails, not wear my nice eyelashes and stuff like that, I am also not interested. So those
Mm.
are the ways that I formed my opinion about the kind of business I wanted to go into.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Let's just read some comment because this is a community, right? So Oluwayemi says, welcome, Deborah. I've been an ardent follower. You have been an inspiration
Wow.
for me. That's my wife. She's
Oh,
the one that made me, no, I have to just
thank
bring this
you
to
so
you.
much. Yeah.
And then Fua says, wow, five siblings. Wow, like, great. I know you wanted to ask a question, Lami. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so now we know a little bit about you, and I love the two, if you will, I guess, life lessons or things that the principles that set you on this path. One was the conversation you had with your father, who had mentioned that if you want to ever do something and be successful and be really wealthy, maybe do your own business, because if you're
Hmm.
doing business for somebody else, at some point they can, pull the stool, if you will.
Yeah.
And then the second one was where your mother talked about at this point it will be margin, profit margin, right?
Hmm.
And where she had mentioned if it's going to give me minimal profit margin, I'm not interested. And
Mhm.
those
Hmm.
two things are the reason why you decided, okay, these are the things I'm looking at when I'm considering a business. I want to make sure that the margin makes sense. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
so ends real estate. So
yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
Tell me a little bit about real estate.
Yeah. When you started your deals, like what got you? You just got your license and said, "Yes, I'm going to go and do investments."
Okay, awesome. So we sold. So I've always thought about real estate because when I got here,
Yeah.
it was five kids. We were living in a two-bedroom. At a time, this was almost 20 years ago, or about 20 years ago. It was finding a affordable home was very hard. It was tough. Number two was we were being discriminated against. I
Mm,
feel right. There was not equal opportunities because you're immigrants. So even as of that time, we had to put 6 months rent down, right? So people think this is something that is new. We had to do that back then as well. And I decided in that unit, I've always thought about businesses. So when I see business ideas, I would evaluate it and think about it in my head. I have this habit from when I was young.
Hmm.
And my sister used to stay with me on the same bed because, of course, it's five kids in Nigeria. And then when we came here, we had to share the same bed. I
Oh.
was okay. Let's think about what we saw through the day.
mm,
Let's analyze it, right? Don't talk to me. I want to analyze all these different scenarios so I can take a life lesson from that.
wow.
So when I thought about this building, it was 144 units, and I analyzed at the
Hmm.
point we were paying about $800 per month. Okay, I analyzed how much this landlord would have been making,
Hmm.
and we are still begging them to take our $800 check
How
multiplied.
old were you at this time?
Oh, I was 15.
Wow.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
15. Okay,
Okay.
I was 15. So I was
Wow.
thinking, okay, how much these people are making? And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, with my calculations and my business sense that my parents has given me, this seems like there will be some enough profit margin for me to want to do this. So I said, okay, I'm gonna marry this to provision for discriminated or less privileged communities, underserved
Mm,
communities. Plus, I am gonna make enough money. This seems like a good thing for me to want to do. So at the
Hmm.
time, eventually I went to university and we were getting OSAP, right? We were getting OSAP. My parents wasn't working as much. And, I got a lot of money. So my dad said, oh, no, I'm working with Union Bank. And that was how he bought stocks so that he could build his own back in Nigeria, bring us over here. So that was the business he knew. So I told my dad, I want to use this $10,000 that I got left over from my OSAP and from working. I was working at Popeyes, I work at Food Basics.
Sorry,
Let
what's OSAP?
OSAP, what is full meaning of OSAP? It is the Ontario Student Loan that
Okay.
you get as a student, as an immigrant.
Okay.
So every year, usually they will give you a lot more than you need, right? I was still
Hmm.
living in my parents' house. I was keeping
Actually, I
minimum.
won't go to Ontario like this.
I don't know if it's still available now, but it was available then. So they will
Then.
always give us more than we need.
Hmm.
And at
Hmm.
this time, I was very fast, right? Because you're coming, and that's the thing about me. People think this bossy girl that she just has a lot of money. They don't understand, but I'm like,
Hmm.
my dad is a traditional Yoruba person, so there's no way that you want to say that I probably don't understand. Okay, there's no Yoruba that you want to speak that I don't understand. My kids were born here, but they understand Yoruba very well, so don't try
Hmm.
it. Okay, that's how traditional my dad was. So I said, okay, you know what? So I had my car. I was hustling. I did my G1. I did my G2. I was driving my dad one day. Just saw the car. So I bought the car. Funny story. I bought the car. We went to Niagara Falls at the time. Bought a little, those GPS, those smaller ones. We bought it. We went to Niagara because that was our first time driving on the highway.
Hmm.
And even here, he said, "Don't drive it." He kept the key in his jar. And me now, of course, I already learned everything. So I went to take the car. I was driving for months before I realized that I was driving. And then he said, "Okay, just take your key. Could be driving this by that time." So with OSAP money, I already had everything that I needed because I was still working at the time.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, I wanted to invest this money. So I went as a good daughter, went to my dad. What should I use this money for? I said, real estate has been on my mind. And I know a friend of my sister then that was going through foreclosure, and I wanted to buy that unit. And my dad said,
Wow.
I don't want it to buy it. It discouraged me. He said, because I don't want it to be pressured and distracted by tenants and all their problems. So I would like you to
Hmm.
instead put this money in Nigeria and use that money to buy shares and stocks and all of that. Until now, ladies and gentlemen, that money is still stuck there, okay?
Oh.
That money is still stuck there. Now, fast forward, this house was probably like 100,000, 110,000. I want to say was a two-bedroom in a very nice area in Toronto. If I had bought this property now,
Hmm.
it would not be worth. It would be worth more than $500,000 at least. Okay.
Wow.
Instead, my $10,000 is stuck in Nigeria. All their stupid, different things. I really don't like hearing about Nigeria because I have tried it and I have failed. Right? I tried. My husband tried other businesses as well, and
Hmm.
that. And right now, I really don't want to hear about Nigeria. Okay, sorry to the audience. That's just my own opinion.
Hmm.
So yeah, so eventually, as time goes on, we bought our first property, and then we made so much money. And I'm like, wow! Now I have my husband. My husband has tried another property, bought Zella stock when they were closing. He took all of those stock, like Walmart stock, took it to Nigeria. Of course, they spent all the money,
Hmm.
all of those nonsense. Lost a lot of money, over thirty
Hmm.
thousand dollars at the time, right? At this time, $30,000 is probably worth more than $100,000, right?
Hmm.
For as of now.
Yeah.
I told my husband, see, this real estate that I've been telling you guys, I think this is time for us to do it now, right? Because of
Hmm.
and everything. And my husband is always supportive, so he said, let's do it. So we bought our first property for $495,000 exact. No, $491,000. We did bidding as of that time as well. People think this is something that is new. It's not, especially in
Hmm.
Ontario. We paid $5,000 over the asking price. That's how we got it. Okay. And we sold it 18 months later. My husband woke up one day, said, he asked like a prophet, right? He's a prophet. He said, I think we should sell this house. As a good wife, I take the order. Okay, I started calling agents. We want to sell a house. We want to buy a bigger house.
Okay, so let me just so that we can get a proper idea about what you're talking about. So that house that you bought for $491,000 as at
Yes,
then, is it a house you moved in and lived in,
yes.
or a house you bought that you said, okay, I want to use it as
An investment.
investment?
No, we bought it and we lived in the property. My father lived
Hmm.
in the property.
Okay.
We had a separate entrance, so we had a tenant in there, right?
Mm.
That was helping us to pay for our rents. And just a tip, guys, I didn't have the money, okay, because by this time I was having my kids back to back, okay. So
Mm.
I was either pregnant or nursing. That's how they
Mm.
described me when I first got married. So we didn't have a lot of money, but we had $10,000 saved up. And then I think we did a tax refund for that year as well. We got $5,000.
Uh,
All right. I called my husband. I'm like, okay, so how much can we get for our savings? Okay, $500 there, $500 there.
mm.
Okay, we have first and last month's rent in this house. So
Mm.
when we are leaving the last month, we don't have to pay, right? So that payment is gonna count towards our deposits, right?
Mm.
So we paid about $30,000 was what we needed. The remaining of what we needed, I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I know that you have a line of credit. Would you pretty please borrow me ten
Mm.
thousand dollars out of that line of credit? Say, sure you see it. I also have $10,000 line of credit. I just need that to close my property.
Mm.
Once I close that property, I am gonna pay you the money back as soon as I get my keys. So I waited for 1 week, make sure that the bank wasn't gonna, raise eyebrows, and I transferred the money to her. And for the next 1 year, we were paying down this line of credits. Okay, that's
Mm.
how we bought our first property.
Wow. Wow.
Because of family collaboration and all of that. So if you see me talking to first time home buyers, is because I'm truly passionate about
Mm.
them, because this is what I went through. And I do understand how it could be very hard to save even $1,000, right?
Mm.
And so fast forward 18 months later, we sold the property for
Mm.
$809,000 was like what I think I sold
What?
it before. Yes. Okay.
From $491,000.
Yes.
18 months after, which
Yes.
is 1 year, 9 months.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. So we sold it.
Wow.
1 year and 7 months new. What kind of 18 months, 1 year and 6 months? What kind of
Six
math is
months.
this?
Yes, 6
Your math
months.
is not mathing.
Well, that was what happened. Okay, everything happened. That was what
Please
happened,
go.
and this is why I say everything is about time in real estate and
Mm.
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't really know what I was gonna do or what I was doing, but my husband said something, which I think was prompted by the Holy Spirit. I decided to follow. We sold the property,
Mm.
and we now say, okay, we want to buy a bigger property, right? So
Mm.
we bought a bigger property, and then instead of using that money to just buy one property, we use it to buy two
Two.
properties, and we
Okay.
Mm.
had some money left over, right? So we put the other $30,000 or so. We put it now into pre-construction, right?
Mm.
So now I was like, okay, this is going well. So I was talking to my real estate agents. I'm like, I want to get my license. I think this is what I want to do.
Mm.
I calculated the commission it was making a lot of money, even though
Mm-hmm.
it discounts. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm born to do. I'm not born to be calculating cover and cover pennies, right? So I got my license, right? And all I
What
wanted,
year was this?
this was, I believe this was 2014.
Okay.
Mm.
So 2014 or 2013, right?
For 11 years or 10 years.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I told myself, I said, listen, this so in my brokerage, I joined a Remax brokerage. One of my
Okay.
always do things big. My dad always had this adage or this saying that is stuck at the back of my head, and he had it framed in our living room.
Mm.
Do not look for a very good where excellence is possible. That was
Mm.
the thing that a friend in his living room. So when I was researching all these brokerages, people were saying, you don't have to pay dex fee, all of these cheap brokerages. I said, I want to join the number one brokerage because that's what I want to become.
Mm.
Right. So I mingled with agents that were making tons and tons of money from day one, not having anything. That was the agent I wanted to I wanted to become,
Mm.
right? That was who I wanted to be. So I joined that brokerage. Now that I know about real estate and I've seen the power of real estate, I
Mm.
started also investing in education of how real estate works, what are the cons, what are the pros, what are the things that we needed to know as well. So one of the things I did was also to invest in my education, which was expensive at the time. It was a lot.
Mm.
Okay, so people see me
Mm.
talking about real estate. I invested more than what I invested in my 4 years of degree into
The
a year
education.
of real estate education,
Mm.
investigation, right? So I would tell people what they can do. I would advise them. I would suggest to them, and I would get a commission. I started saving this commission up. Remember, at this time I was working as a teacher because my mom is a teacher. Okay,
Wow.
so it was easy because you're a mom and all of that, so you could close at 4 o'clock or something. You can come back home. So, but I wasn't fulfilled in that job for
Mm.
whatever reason. I have kids. I love kids, but this yelling at them are Canadian kids that doesn't want to listen. They don't want to learn anything. It was just not in my nature. That wasn't how I was raised. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
very traditional person. So yes, so I left the job. I took a leave of absence for 6 months. I said for 6 months, if this doesn't work, I am going to come back, right? I
Mm.
was getting minimum payments. I had $30,000 line of credit at the time as well. So I told my husband, I'm gonna use this to be supporting us, right? Because we still didn't have tons of money. We use all our money for real estate investments, right?
Mm.
So I was using this to support. So as soon as I was getting my commissions, my first house, people don't know this was actually a lease property. It was a lease. And then from that lease, people started contacting me because now they know me. They say I will carry myself. I want to buy properties. The first contract actually took me about, I want to say 3 months before this person eventually decided to buy a property. And
Mm.
that was a breakthrough for me because that was when I realized this is actually a thing. I can do this. I've dreamed about this, but this is reality. This is my payment,
Mm.
right? So I was using now those money, taking care of our expenses, but I was using the bulk of it back into real estate. So as I'm making the money, before I make it sometimes, I already spent it. I will go and meet a builder. Sure, you want $30,000 a month, or you want $5,000 a month. I have a big family, right? I'm the first. I have four other siblings. I would go to my sister. This time she was living in my basement. Comfort, my dear. I see this pre-construction. No, sure, you borrow me your line of credit. Osha, I'll pay. I am not only busy. I'll pay you back.
Mm.
So before I sold the house and get my commission, I already spent it, right?
Mm.
So that was how I started turning things around for us, and this is how we became this little Deborah Homes that you know here.
Mm. Mm. It's a very very interesting story, right? And I like the way you're sharing it because you're letting people know that listen, you don't have to have
All
all
the
the
money.
money. You don't have to have all the money in the world to get into this business. And I like the way you're sharing it. What I want to ask is this because you mentioned it in earlier when you were talking this period that you were talking you mentioned it that there's this passion that was driving you, that was just driving you. Knew what you wanted to do. A lot of people, including your family members, were like, no, let's invest in Nigeria. Oh, let's invest in agriculture. Oh, let's invest in all of that. And you allowed them, right, initially to carry out their own instruction. And when everything failed, okay, can I do my own now? And then people said yes. What is that driving force for you when it comes to your ability, your staying power, your ability to really focus on what you want, knowing that what you want will give you what you need? How? And the reason I'm asking this question is a lot of people tend to jump into, okay, what's the next thing? Oh, it's oil and gas. Boom. They've gone into oil and gas. Oh, it's IT. Oh, everybody now is IT. You right? Why is it that for you, from the onset, it has always been real estate? You knew it, even from when you were 16. From when you received your Ontario student this thing, you saved money. You told your dad that this is what you want to do. Your dad said, "No, don't buy it." What is that staying power for you? What really it is that is keeping you, that makes you feel like it is this real estate or not?
Okay. I want to say it's God first of all, because I wasn't the smartest person. I'm still not the smartest person on the block. I just know what I'm good at to some extent.
Mm.
And I've had angels all around me that kept guiding me. And one of them is my husband. My husband is not a typical Nigerian man. He's a man that supports his wife. He doesn't mind if you continue to shine, and he listens to what you have to say. So
Mm.
as I was finding myself, even though I wanted to do real estate and I knew I was gonna do real estate, but I didn't know when, I didn't know how the puzzles are gonna connect together. Now that I'm sitting here, I realize all the things that God has been doing all the way, right? Um,
Mm.
so I would actually go, Fola and Lami, I would go for interviews and I would fail miserably.
Mm.
People think I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. And I have to feel connected to you before I can talk to you, right? So
Mm.
in an interview, the people will be interviewing me, they will be asking all of that, and people will be, thinking quick on their feet. I know what I want to say, but I just don't feel like it, right? I
Mm.
really fake myself to anything. I have to do the
Mm.
things that are true to me. And so today, even I remember the church that we're going to, they're like, that girl is full of herself. It's because I want to disappear from the room, right? I
Mm.
don't feel connected. So I could be weird that way, but once I open up, if I like you and I feel the energy connects and everything, then it will go like that.
Do you like us? Do you like us?
No, I can talk. There are few topics I can talk about. Real estate, I can talk about my children. There are few topics I'm passionate about,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Whereas if you take me to a Nigerian party, I can't function. I can't distribute my cards. I just want to leave the room, right?
Mm.
So I have to be, I recognize what my superpower is. My superpower, my parents thought I was going to be a lawyer. Very funny. They thought I was going to be a lawyer because I could talk. But my superpower is staying on stages and talking. And that's
Mm.
all what you guys see me doing. I can deliver a webinar very well. I can do a seminar very well. And that's how I incorporated that into my marketing piece, right? I didn't try to be who I'm not because I really cannot. Now to your question, how did I stay true to this course? I had my guiding angels, my husband, right? My
Mm.
sister. So my sister would prep me. She's a doctor now. And she was saying that my basement, I'll go there, she'll prep me for an interview, I'll come back there, she'll ask me, I'll say, yeah, but this one is not true, right? You know how people put things together. You know, I was like, but that is not true. Like I was one of those um I wasn't smart. I wasn't smart at all. But this thing that God has given me was a gift that I could rely on. And I seem to be very good at it. And people now, say, you're a star, you're good at this, right?
Mm.
That's one of numbers, financial planning, all of those things I understand. If you give me any business, I can tell you in 5 seconds if that's something that is going to make money or not. If something that doesn't make sense, I'll tell you. So I was
Mm.
able to, so with time, I was able to recognize that pattern. So I will ask my sister, so what do you think I'm really good at? I will ask my husband, everybody around me that were close to me, what do you think Deborah Ojo is good at? What do you see me doing? Right? And I tried all of those things. I was doing interviews and I wasn't passing anyways. And then when it came back to real estate and I said I wanted to do real estate, the agent told me, well, you just go to the website and everything. But I still didn't understand because this guy is Indian. You know, they talk very fast. I didn't understand what he was saying. But I told my sister I wanted to I want to do real estate. I didn't know which part of real estate I'm going to do, but
Mm.
I wanted to be involved in real estate somehow. So my sister went and she took a picture of someone that was doing coaching in real estate to become an agent, and she sent that photo to me. And that was the guy that I used that coached me with my exams and everything.
Mm.
By the time I had kids, I had work, so I was very busy. So that was how I got started. So it was almost like everything was leading back into real estate. And then I had all these other people that believed in me.
Mm.
Let me just tell you, when I'm focused on something, I can do few things at a time. But what I like to see through something and know that I can do it. I'm not the one to start something and not finish it. So you never see me say I want to do IT and jump on things that people are doing,
Mm.
because I'm not an average person. I'm probably below average when it comes to a lot of things. So I have to sit through it to do it. So I just talk to real estate because it fits. And yeah, that's how I'm here. I think I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. Absolutely, you did. For you, you say that you're not smart, but that's not true. You can't do the kind of job that you do and do it so well and have the kind of name that you have by being not smart. That's just not possible. It's just not possible. It's just that you didn't find something that you were passionate about before,
Mm.
and of course, because you didn't, it didn't matter to you. You didn't care. But you're laser focused on that thing that you are really passionate about, I'm sure if we stay here for the next 3 hours, you will talk about real estate and you will not be tired,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's you could not do that without being smart, right? But I'll just throw this in before I allow Lami to also ask. I know she has a lot of questions, but she is in real estate and she just started too. So I know there's a lot that she wants to,
Yay. Um,
that she wants to glean from you. But let me just put this out quickly. So if I want to become I want to invest in real estate right now because we're still going to quickly talk about the generational wealth. How do you build wealth with real estate, right? We're going to talk about, but let's say I want to go into real estate right now and I'm scared like you were when you were initially scared. Do you have like steps to it? Like, okay, this is the first step you should take. second step you should take? And is this something that you have a step now,
Mhm.
or is there any other way that you go about it?
Okay, so you want to start real estate investments. My first conversation with people is why, right? I think your why is very strong because as you said, that was the only reason why I'm here. That's why I'm good at my job. You have to understand your why because your why keeps you awake and keeps you steady when
Mm,
the road is rough, right? And your why, what I mean by your why is some of my clients wants to retire in the next 10 years, right? I would then help them to have a plan so they can retire in 10 years. What would that look like? Maybe you want to buy 5 properties, have them maybe 50% paid off before retirement, right?
mm,
So let's have that plan. If you want to send your kids to school, Fola, and they have maybe the next 5 years, what plan and what strategy should we flip? Should we buy an old? Should we buy in the US? What exactly should we do to make sure that you achieve those goals? So your why is very, very important in the way you're going to approach real estate investments.
mm.
Give you an example of the difference in these two scenarios that I just told you. If you are retiring for, let's say you're retiring in the next 10 years and you are investing all your money into pre-constructions, that is not a viable investment. Why? Because reconstruction is not yours yet. You can't even pay it down. Your builder can disappoint. They can decide not to close in the next, as of when due because of
Mm,
whatever reason. So that is a risky investment to me. So I would suggest why don't you go buy a resale property? You de-risk your investment. Your tenants are there. During COVID, my tenants were always paying me my
keep paying.
income, right?
Mm,
I was paying down my mortgage. I locked in my rates. I wasn't doing all this risky investment. If you do pre-construction, now you're closing as of today, you have to pay like about 6 point something percent
that's
in,
right.
right? So that's why your whys are always different. So once we understand what your why is, now let's make a plan. We understand exactly what your plans are. And by the way, you don't always have to buy real estate, right? Yeah, a property, a physical property. You can invest in REITs, you can invest in private lending, you can invest in a lot of things depending on your risk tolerance and all of that as well.
Mm,
So now, once we decide that, we're now going to decide where are you going to get the funds from. I just told you how I got my funds as a first-time home buyer. I use mommy's bank. That's what they call it now. You can use your RSP, put some money into your RSP, all of that. So we're gonna design where are the places you can save so that you can, consolidate your savings and have more money,
mm,
and so that you can have more. You can have your money. Once we do that, you have to do some. You're probably going to have to get a loan, right? So what are the things that you need to do for your loan? You have to make sure your credit is good, your account is clean, all of that. So we can start planning all of those steps before you even buy a property. So I always tell people, talk to me 6 months before you buy a property. That's
mm,
because I can set you up on the right path to making sure that you get this, which pick a location, you get familiar with the price range in that location. So that when you see a deal, Fola, I want you to recognize a deal. I want
mm,
to know, I don't want to tell you what to do. I want to teach you because that's my personality. I want to teach you to recognize what a deal is. So when you get something $50,000 discounts, and I tell you gotta jump on this, you don't waste time because you don't understand what you're doing. See? So
mm,
those are all the steps that I take, and there's a lot more to it. But I think if you start here, talk to it. If you want to invest, talk to an investor focused real estate agents. Not the ones
mm,
that say they are just investor focused, because everybody does that now. The ones that has a portfolio to show for it,
mm,
because they understand exactly when the market was changing. When the market was changing in 2022, guess what I did? I sold half of my portfolio, and I was telling my clients, you have to do the same because I
mm,
knew something was coming. I didn't know it was going to be this tough and bad, but I knew something was coming, and this is the time to put cash on the side so that when you can come back and take opportunities. And that's what I
mm,
do. So that's
mm.
why talking to a person that is doing this all the time, they can give you a lot of information because information is power.
Hmm.
Wow. Lami.
I found it interesting though that when you saw the trends, especially because COVID was an outlier, right? It wasn't expected, and of course, inflation and everything that happened. And then of course with policies and all of that. Right now, real estate is crazy. It's I mean, they don't even have a word for it. It's not a seller's market. It's, they call it hot market. They call it all sorts now. You know what I mean? But you had properties and sold half of it. So I would think, hold, why did you choose to sell?
Okay, good question. In Ontario, it's not the same as your market. In your market,
Yeah.
is hot markets right now. And I want to suggest, this is my thinking.
Mm,
What you guys are experiencing now was what we experienced in 2021, first quarter of
Oh.
2022. You
mm,
are still coming to what we are experiencing now, which is a terrible market. Let me just put it that way, okay?
mm,
Mm.
Because the interest rate is affecting a lot of people because our properties are average of $800,000 and above. So
mhm,
when you have an interest rate of 6%, some people are going to private lenders and they're getting 10%.
Oh.
That's hard to keep up with. How much are you
mm,
making?
Mm.
Inflation is here, food is expensive,
Mm.
mm,
everything is. Some people lost their jobs, right? Those are things that people have to think about. So when I'm
Mm.
saying investing, you gotta understand what is your goal, what is your affordability, what is your backup plan.
Mm.
Your plan A doesn't work. I flip properties for a living, but if I
Mm.
can't flip my properties, what am I gonna do? Can I hold on to it? Can I rent it out? Those are things that people have to think before they do it. So your market is different from us. So
Mm.
when 2022 happened and I knew interest rate was gonna go up, I'm like, I think I was in Vegas. I came back, interest rate was up. I'm like, you know what? I told my husband, let's sell some of our properties. He said, no,
Mm.
the one that property manage all of these properties. He was attached to them. I was like, I'm not attached to anything. It's only
Mm.
money and my goals. And my husband said, okay, right? For some of them that he didn't allow us to sell, he regrets it today. For the ones that he allowed to
Mm.
sell, he's happy about it. So I said, let's start selling because I feel like by the time this hits the markets,
Mm.
it's tougher for us to sell the property at the price that we
How
want.
did you know? How did you know?
I studied the markets like a book.
Mm.
Okay, sure. You say I told you that I'm not that smart, but the ones that I know, I study it like a book every day. And I'm also in an investment club, right? I know the big players in real estate. We talk,
Mm.
right? We talk about things. I know what things are working, what things are not working. So the other tip that I can give people that want to be realtors, investment focused realtor, is you gotta have a community of other people that are doing something like you so that you guys can talk. When COVID happened, yes, it was an outlier, but now we have to sit down and think about how are we going to overcome this. And that's
mm,
the definition of a business owner, to be honest. You're going to have things thrown at you every different direction, but you have to have
Mm.
some community, you have to have a mentor, you have to have all of those people that are going to help you to shape things, right? So I'm thinking about this. What do you think I should do? What are you guys doing in your business? How are you overcoming this stress? How are you overcoming these challenges? What are the things that are happening to you, right? We share some of this information. That was so that and when interest rate is high, prices are going to come down. It's happening from years and years. Prices are always going to come down because people cannot afford, right? That just makes sense, right?
Mm.
So I think what is going on in your market, to be honest, I feel like if the inflation doesn't, and your market bounces up every 7 years. Did you guys know that? It's a
That's
mhm,
true. That's true.
it's
That's
gonna go
true.
up, everybody's gonna buy, and then it's gonna go down, and then everybody's gonna lose, right?
Mm.
So I never like avatar market. Sorry, guys.
So how are you going
Because
to help? How are you going to help us in Alberta? We that we are looking at because we are seriously looking at this investment thing with properties, right? What are you only going to advise us to invest in the Ontario
no,
market, or is it something that you can look around and you can assist other people watching, even if from Nigeria or from Africa?
okay. So your first question, how can I help people living in Alberta right now?
Yeah.
I would say that understand what your goals are and then pick a market that aligns with your strategy. One of the reasons why I stayed true to Ontario was my family size, right? I have a husband that has to be there because it's needed in the house. Okay.
Mm.
So any property that we're buying that is 2 hours, 3 hours radius, it's just hard because then he has to travel. I'm left with the kids and now I can't do business. It's not worth my time. So that's an
Mm.
example of how you choose a market. What market is trending on the upward right now, and it seems like it's going to continue to trend. Those are places where there is employment, there is immigration. Immigration is a great indicator as to how the market is going to perform, right? Because immigrants are the ones that are buying properties. You guys are
That's
the
right.
ones that want home ownership, right? When all those Canadians buy a property, they don't trade. Some of them stay in the property for the next 20, 30 years. So
That's
we
right.
are the one that are causing problem for ourselves. Right? But that is also the way that we make money. So where are the places where there are amenities, there's colleges, there's schools. So I know
Mm,
there's going to be employment, there's going to be population growth. If you go to a place where their population has been declining in the last 7 years, why would
you
you
don't want to
go
buy
and
property
invest
there.
in a place like that? You need people to live in your house, right? It's a rented
Yeah.
property. So those are some of the things that you gotta consider. So I would say you don't have to invest in your backyard. Pick a market that aligns with your goal. If my goal is to own 100 properties, right? That means I need to go multifamily because I cannot buy single family. How many times do I have to buy when am I going to get there, right? So if
Mm,
my goal is buy multifamily, maybe my smallest multifamily should be 10 units or 12 units. Where is a place that I can buy it that I know it's an ideal market and it's trending up, right? So you don't have to invest in your backyard. You can invest in a better stable market that is going to give you the same appreciation that you're looking for. It
mhm.
doesn't have to be your market. What are the government opportunities, government incentives that are there? Right now, there's affordable housing. Did you guys know that you can buy a property right now, any places like 5 plex, 20 plex, with 5% down, as long as the property qualifies? Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that.
Yes. So if you can buy $1 million property with 5% down, a multi-units, right? And this is a specific time that they're offering that.
Wait,
So
wait, hold on. So even as I have a property right now,
mhm,
and I see another property that is like a million 200 multiplex, right? Like, and you're talking about buildings with different flats, right? Like the
yes,
normal condominiums,
yes.
apartments, right? You're
Mhm.
saying that if I have 5%
Down
for down payment that I can actually buy now, what's the program called?
What's the program called? MLS Select.
MLI select.
MLI Select. Thank you. MLI Select. So that's what the program is called, and they're using
Hmm.
that because they needed affordable housing. So there are criteria that you have to meet, such as maybe you're going to rent a portion of it to people with lower income. It could be seniors. It could also be because the building passed
Hmm.
some energy efficient criteria, right? So
Yeah.
there are those programs. So when you see a property that aligns with that goal, why won't you buy it, right? Let me tell you something. When we came to this country, it was 0% down, 0%
Ooh.
down. We didn't do it.
To buy a house, 0% down.
My brother, especially
Ah.
dad. If you India,
What year was that?
that was 2003, 2004. People were coming, they were telling us, so if you buy this property, Indians were, they are the ones that are always in that business.
Smart.
They said buy it, but people were telling you, keep your SIM card very well. That is your identity. If you don't keep it, if you lose it, they're gonna steal it and all of that. So we didn't want to. My dad didn't want to release those
Oh,
information, right? Because we
Jesus
didn't know
Christ.
what we don't know. That is why this
Oh.
is important, right? We didn't take advantage of it. Right now, is the program that you can take advantage of.
Hmm.
Next year, it may not be here anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take
Mm.
advantage of it now.
Hmm. Hmm. Lami. Do you know that time I've gone?
As in,
Oh
and I had
God.
so many questions. One of my
And
questions before this time run away is okay. So now, even with the fact that you've explained that the market is kind of different, like you really kind of compare the Toronto, Vancouver market to the Alberta market, right?
Hmm.
But still, right, some people are still being priced out, especially first time home buyers, and that's really the biggest deal. So what do you think? Okay, besides first time home buyers, even investors, people who just want to invest, like play in the game, like have some skin in the game, so to speak. What do you think about joint ventures? Because I do understand
Hmm.
even when it comes to title, there's such a thing as tenancy in commons, where depending on how much skin you have in the game, you can actually have different ratios and all of that. People don't understand that. Do you teach those kind of things? Do you preach it to your people like we can do this? Because I know that Nigeria we have a thing for trust. because I was
That's
talking to
what Indians do now. You see an Indians, they're buying the whole street, right? They're buying the whole streets, and it's because they're having a joint, pause where everybody comes together, put money together, and they buy,
Mm.
right? Well, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, Deborah.
So I think Deborah has a sense of what I'm trying to ask already. So please go for it.
So, joint venture is a great strategy. I've done it before. I've done it with some of my clients as well, even as a big investor or a medium-sized investor. Because some people cannot afford a property, but they are still first-time home buyers. I cannot buy anything with 5% down. So 5% down is like the sweet deal that everybody wants, right? Instead of me as an investor having to put down 20%. So if I put that 5% down in your name, you get to buy the property in 2 years. We're gonna sell it, right?
Mm.
That's one of the things that we do, and we put things in place to make sure, because I cannot put my name actually in that property. Once I put my name, guess what? It's out of the window, right? In some cases. So in most cases, we will just have a separate contract that is written by a lawyer. I have a template of that has been written, and we all sign it, and we have agreements. With my joint venture partners, myself, I need to have a business relationship with you. I'm not just gonna come and say, Lami, let's partner together. Like, I don't know you. I don't know how you react to money. Are you stressed? Are you gonna be calling my mom? Are you gonna be going to the social media? I don't know what I don't know what's up with you. So for me, there still has to be some level of trust
Mm.
and your relationship with money, right? For
So
me,
you won't bring two people together. You would rather those two people say, I work well with this person, I trust this person, I'm looking to do this with this person, and before you do something like that. Is that what you're saying?
okay. Yes, I prefer to work like that because I don't have to be in the picture. You guys sort your own problems, right?
Mm,
Mm.
And I prefer that as a realtor. But I have also put people together before,
mm,
and I have to have the final say. Whenever I do that, I get to have the final say. I'm the mediator between both of you or all of you. Whatever I say goes. You guys can suggest and everything, but I'm the consultant here, and I advise, and people are gonna sign off on it just to make sure that this property and investment is secured. So that's how I have done it. When I see that you guys put, if I know two different clients and I think they can work together because I've had business dealings with them before. I have trusted them. Like, you would just know, right? You would know how the people that react badly with $5 and you're like, yeah, I lost a lot of money. You would know all of those people. So if I feel like you're a good fit, I would suggest you guys have a meeting because I see a fit there. But I would then say, as a consultant, I need to have the finance say, and this is strictly an investment. You guys are actually not living in the property. I don't want two first-time home buyers living in the same property. It's an
Mm.
investment property. We're gonna rent it out. You guys have nothing. This is just strictly investments, and I call all the shots, right? And
mm,
that's it. I call when to sell it, right? You guys cannot say, hey, yeah. Like, when I was selling some of my properties in 2022, I told some of my investment property partners, right? Let's sell the property. They're like, no, we think it's still like, I know. I said no. I said we're gonna sell it, and this is what you guys signed up for, right? So
Mm.
you know when we started, and now they're like, thank God you made those decisions, right?
Mm.
But sometimes we have to separate emotions
mm.
from investments, and that's the role I play for most of my clients. And some of them like it in the beginning, some of them don't. But I gotta save my name, and I have to make sure I do the right by the clients.
Mm. So the bottom line for you is finance, is money.
Then you see my face, it's money.
Eh,
She said, I must stay true to money and I must stay true to my goals.
Yeah,
wow. Wow. Wow.
that is what we
Wow.
do for
Full
sure.
Yeah.
says information is power and wealth. Thank you for the information today. Yomi says this session is loaded. And have you ever made a, I was gonna ask this question actually.
Yeah.
So it's good. Have you ever made a bad decision?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bad investment decision, I'm guessing.
I have made some decisions, right? One of my builders just went under, right?
Mm,
There is something called receiver.
Mm.
This is something happening in Ontario. So
mm,
when I say these things could start happening in other places, I believe
Mm.
it could, because politics and interest rates affect us all, right? It's
Oh.
mm,
not something that is specific to Ontario. It's just we are feeling the heat more because our prices are more expensive. So one of and this builder I sold over 30 properties to my clients from this builder. At the time, they look good, but
Mm,
as inflation continued to go up, the price of their labor started going up. So also the
mm.
price of their materials, right? So at some point, they were not at break even and they went
Mm,
under. Another company is going to buy them. And what
Oh,
happens at this case is people are not going to lose their deposits, right? They're still going to get their deposit back, but because they cover all the Tyrion, but the investment and what they're supposed to get on top is what they're not getting, which could be a blessing in disguise
this
because a lot
guys.
of them don't qualify anymore, anyways, because
mm,
of the stress test and the inflation. But this could now take me over a year before they even get anything back. So
mm,
that's one of the bad investment decisions I've made. I've also tried to build a property before and it didn't work out, right? That was also happened in 2022. And I actually made a decision. It wasn't like it wasn't working out. I told them practically that
Oh,
I know they do. I'm not doing it, right? And I walked away from my deposits because I felt like
you
I
walked away
always
from your
like my peace of
deposit.
mind. If you guys, I walked away from my deposits, yes, and it was
Oh,
an handsome amount of money, and I was gonna do it with a partner. And at that time, it freaked out. It said, "Yeah, Deborah, you're making all this decision by yourself. We don't like you and everything." And I just spoke to the guy today. It's like, Deborah, I love you so much. Thank you for all your decisions. I really
mm,
appreciate it and all of that. Because
mm,
to be honest, and to be fair, I kind of know what is going on in the markets, and I know when
mm,
to change. I know when to walk away from a small deposit and not lose my entire assets and portfolio.
mm.
Because when you are buying a land, that land was $3.3 million. We were gonna pay cash for that,
Ooh,
right? So if I lose a deposit of 5% for that, isn't that better than losing my entire thing and losing my sleep for the last 2 or 3 years now? I'm like, yeah, I'm
mm,
walking away, right? So yes, I've made some bad decisions because of the markets, because all of this happened, and you have to be fluid with the markets, and that's why I always say have your plan B, right? Have your plan A, plan B, in case your plan A doesn't work, because it's not always going to work out.
mhm,
mm. Ah, I'm loaded. I'm loaded. Yomi says that was huge. I
mm.
This show is an hour show, so we just can't go as much as the thing is pushing me. All my questions is just pushing me that I should
I
ask.
know,
I should
right?
ask, but I just can't because it's just an hour show. So what we're gonna do is we're going to bring you back to the show for sure. I know you're a busy woman. Thank you so much for coming on the show. There's another segment of the show that we didn't. You know what? We're not going to fly this segment. Or what do you think? What do you think, Lami? You know
How
the
do
segment
you?
I'm talking about now.
Oh yeah, the question and answer.
The
Let's
question and
just let's
answer.
just let's just run it. I mean, let's do 10 minutes over. We didn't start on time. We started 3 minutes late. So let's get to 110.
All
So
right, so
let's
we're putting you on the spot. We don't usually tell our guests so that they won't run away because some of them are like, no, I'm not coming. So we're just going to ask you 5 questions. If you, we just need you to score 3 out of 5. Score 3 out of 5. You have become our super guest of the show, and then we have a gift for you, right? But
Wow.
don't be scared. It's just general question, and I know that you will get them right. I know that one.
How would I know if I got it right?
he will
I
tell you
know
right
you.
away.
I know you will get it right. First
Okay.
question: what is the capital of France?
Jesus, I don't know it.
You
Let me
you
call my kids. Can I call my
you
kids?
can call your kids. You have
They're
call a
downstairs.
friend 50-50, and then you have phone a friend or phone a family member 50-50, and then I can give you options, and then you
Okay,
can
give me
pick ones
options.
from
Yes.
options. All right, so capital of France is Rome, Paris, or Washington.
Paris.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, now my husband went
All
there.
right, if you had gone with Rome, Deborah, today you would have been a fantastic loser because the answer is actually Paris. A round of applause for Deborah Ojo.
Yay.
All right, so question two. Question two. Very, very, very simple. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Question two is This one is hard, though.
Ah,
But I know that you will get it. You know I know you get it. What character played Jack in Titanic? What's the
ha.
name of the What's the name of the
Options.
guy that played Jack in Titanic?
Options, please.
Options. Option one is Leonardo DiCaprio. Option two is Robert Downey Jr. And option three is Will Smith. What?
Will Smith. Will
Okay. So
Smith.
now Will Smith, you have Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you know who Jack is?
No.
Jack, have you watched Titanic before?
Yes.
Titanic, Jack is the guy that died in that water that saved the
Oh
girlfriend.
yeah,
The
it's
girlfriend
not
met
Will Smith. Is the first one. Leonardo.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Are you sure? Why are you clapping? Who says you should clap? No.
Sorry, I said.
Ah yes, I got it. Thank you, thank
Who
you,
asked you
thank
to be
you.
clapping? No, but who
Sorry,
asked you
no,
to be
I
clapping? Tell me.
I've dropped my hands. I've dropped my hands.
Is that your final
Yes,
answer?
that's my final answer. Give me my gifts.
Uh, We've only asked two questions out of five. If that's your final answer, you
Yes.
are correct.
Thank you,
A
thank
round of applause for Deborah Ojo on that one. You've just gotten that question correct. The third question is going to be in sport. How much of sport do you know?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Not a lot. You can remember, you still have your option of calling a friend. You have not even used any of your options. Call a friend, call a family. You are allowed to do that.
David, can you call me David?
Who holds the record for the most career goals in professional soccer?
Ah, wait, I want to call a friend. Help me
Call
to
a friend.
one.
Call a friend. Who
Who
holds
the
the most career goals in professional soccer? I can give you
okay.
options still, and you can still call a friend.
Yeah, where is no you
Lami
call
is laughing.
David. Who owns they know?
Who holds
Yes.
the record for the most career goals in professional soccer? Who has scored the highest goals in professional soccer? And that's football, like we call it football, right? But they call it
Who?
soccer here.
Um,
I
options,
can
options.
I can give you option. Option one is um option one is Zinedine Zidane. Option two is Messi, and option three is Cristiano Ronaldo. Who holds the record for the most career goals in professional soccer? Is it Zinedine Zidane from France? Is it
No.
Messi from Argentina? Or is it Cristiano Ronaldo from Portugal?
Okay, I know Messi has scored the most. So I'm checking him off the list.
Okay.
I remember watching this video. I'm pretty sure it was an icon. I know Zidane has scored over like
So
600
is it
career
Messi or
goals.
Ronaldo?
No,
That's
it's
all.
not. It's not Messi.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Don't let me listen.
I know. Cristiano Ronaldo scored like over 600 too. But I'm gonna go with Ronaldo.
You're gonna go with Cristiano Ronaldo. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Yes,
Are
I
you
got it.
sure?
Yes.
Because if that
Lami
is
already
wrong,
raised his hand.
your
I got
mom
it.
has
I
been.
got it.
You got it. How did you know that you got it?
Because Lami raised her hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, the right answer for this question is one of the three options, and the right answer is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh my God,
And you scored that one.
Easy.
Fantastic. What's your is your son, right?
Yeah, that's my son,
What's his name?
David.
David. That is fantastic. And you saved your mom. And the third question. We're going to the fourth question and the fifth question. You've scored 3 out of 3. Right
Okay.
now, you have 60%, and you've already won. But let's see if you can finish this round and win and score and pass all the questions, right? All
Okay.
right, next question is in geography. Are you ready?
Yes.
What is the capital city of Canada?
Capital city?
Yes.
It's Ottawa.
Okay, Ottawa.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that's our final answer.
What is the young princess name?
Gloria?
Gloria. Why did you choose Ottawa?
Because
I know and I went there before and I know it.
Because you know it. Ladies and gentlemen, you just scored the right answer. It is onward.
Yes, yes, yes.
You have geniuses in your house. Four answers out of five. The last question for you today is animal question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes,
Yes.
already.
All right. You have Albert Einstein in your house. All of them are all ready for the questions.
Yes.
All right. Your last question for today is what is this one is very hard. This one is very hard. Let not look as if I just want you to feel it. What animal is often associated with carrying its baby in a pouch?
Oh,
I know it's a kangaroo.
kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo. Are you sure?
Final answer.
Yes.
It's not a bat?
Final
No,
answer.
it's not.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
I didn't even give you options. The option one is bat, kangaroo, and the option two is giraffe. Option three is giraffe. Are you sure it's not giraffe?
No.
Are you
Kangaroos
sure it's
are
not a bat?
I know bats kind of do it. They carry it with their wings.
So you want to change your mind and choose the bat?
No, but kangaroos are known for it. So
All right. And if you had chosen the bat, you would have been absolutely wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is a kangaroo. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for playing the game. And you scored 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
We have a special gift for you. We'll be sending you the gift. And usually what we do is we ask you as a third person of the community, you can share it with people, you can bless people with it, whatever option you like to. It's going to be a gift card for sure, but whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. It's going to be yours. And thank you so much for coming on the show and being a part of this. A lot of people have learned. And Yomi says, good job, David. Yomi says, proud mom. You're proud of your children right now. Absolutely. And we're proud of you also for what you do for your community. You are blazing the trail. You are really assisting. You're changing lives, right? Especially for people like us who come to this community and we leave everything behind. And it's a big, huge risk we're taking just stepping over. But you are there to like hold our hands and say, don't worry, you can also have generational wealth by taking the steps and all that. Thank you so much for what you do. Lami, I'm sure you have a last word for our guest on the show tonight also.
It's interesting that I had spoken with a few of real estate people who have got done this business, and I'm like, I notice a trend that most of the trailblazers, if you will, they're not a lot of them that are women.
Mm.
you know but to see you do what you do, and it's amazing. It goes to show that women can do this also. So I'm really
That's
proud
right.
you're representing the community of women well, and we're proud of what you're doing, and we thank you for coming on the show today. It was absolutely insightful, and we look forward to having you again. Thank you so much, Deborah. We
We
appreciate
are proud of you, Deborah. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And regards to your husband, from me, for us, we really appreciate him. Thank him
not
for
only from
all
you,
the
from all
support.
of us. Now what's the meaning of that?
Yeah, I say from us. Now I changed it from us. Yeah. Until we meet again next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the show. It's been a fantastic night. Thank you so much again, Deborah. At least now you can go home and sleep. You don't have All right. It's a great night from us, and God bless you. Bye now.